Hey, it's Rick from Metagamers, and Devicewear has released one of their new cases for the third generation iPad. It's called the Ridge. Devicewear's been around since about 2009, but they're cranking out some really high quality cases at an affordable price. I'm going to show you the Ridge up close, so let's have a look. So this is the Ridge case, and it's by Devicewear. The great thing about this case is it's only going to run you about $30, and I will link to where you can pick it up in the description of my video here. And I say that because I've seen a lot of cases similar to this style that go for about 40 to 50. So 30 I think is pretty reasonable for what you're about to see. It comes in this kind of a slip sleeve that you see right here. And as Devicewear says, this case is made out of vegan leather. What that really means is it is a material that is made to replicate the look and the feel of leather without actually being leather, and it works quite well. The inside of this case is a polycarbonate shell. It doesn't have any lining, but it is very, very smooth, so you're not going to have to worry about your iPad getting scratched up inside of this case. This is going to go in a little bit differently than what we've seen with other cases like this, and what I mean is that you line up one end and you're going to pop it in around the sides of this case, or this side and up along the top here. As you can see, it snaps into place, and then also along these sides. The reason why I call that out is other polycarbonate shells that we've seen have always snapped in around the corners, and I think one of the issues that we've seen with that is stress fractures in the case itself over time. So I think by doing this, they have tried to eliminate those cracks that would occur over time in the polycarbonate shell. This is what the case is going to look like up close. So you do get some nice Devicewear branding on the outside of the case. Kind of looks retro to me, and I like that quite a bit. There's the stitching and the leather-like material. It looks really good and feels good in the hand as well. Before I show you the ports, let me show you it's not all that bulky. So yes, it does add a little bit of bulk, and there is a little bit of lift here in the corner, but nothing too bad. And weight-wise, while I don't have a scale to measure this, it's pretty light. It's not going to add a whole ton of weight to your iPad. Here's how everything lines up and is cut out. You get a cutout for your speaker and your dock. Everything along the side is cut out as well, and it lines up perfectly. Your microphone is lined up as well, and I have no issues with this one right there being obstructed or anything like that. On the back side, they also add to the polycarbonate shell a little bit of that leather material, and it works out to add a added level of protection. So this is going to provide good scratch protection and moderate drop protection, I would say, as well. When you open it up, it utilizes the sleep and the awake feature, so you can see it awakens the device, and it puts it to sleep when you close it. Now, if we flip this around to the book mode, as I will call it, you can see what that looks like. It's pretty flat, and it's not going to hold it, so you do have to hold it kind of closed in that position, and it works out quite well. Now, the reason why this is called the Ridge, let me show you this. Right along the top here, you've got, from about here to here, a groove that sticks out. And that is made to go into the grooves on the case, and there are 4 of them. So you get 4 very different viewing angles here. And because of the length, again, from about there to there, this stays in position quite well. And it is very sturdy in those 4 different positions. Here's the final position here. And again, if I kind of pound on that, aside from it shaking, it's really not falling out of position, and that works out quite well. Now, you also get another angle with this that is a typing angle. Before I show that to you, let me show you the interior of this case, because instead of being a microfiber like we've seen before, it almost replicates to me velvet. So it is really, really smooth and kind of luxurious. So that's definitely a step up. The reason why I call that out is a lot of these cases in typing mode, this touches your surface, can get dirty, you close it up on your screen, and there's concerns about that. Well, not here. So the way that this works is I just folded it inside, and you get a really nice typing angle here. just like this. And at no point is any of that interior of the case touching your screen. So very good typing angle there, very sturdy, and it doesn't touch your screen at all. Let me show you real quickly here on the inside. When you open that up, that's what that kind of looks like. So polycarbonate shell, complete coverage. And I love that about this case. We've seen other cases that are similar to this style on the iPad 2. And when you flip it open, this whole area of your iPad is exposed. So I like that they've added that level of protection. And finally, to address a couple of concerns that people usually have with folio style cases like this, remember that material being kind of velvet-like. It adds a level of grip to the screen, and so it makes it harder to kind of shift this around when you put your finger to it and move that front lid. People always ask, can you trigger the sleep awake doing that? I can do it, but it requires what I would call excessive force to do so. So it requires me to really kind of get in there and move it around. Unless this is tossed in a bag and really getting thrown around, I don't think you're ever going to have an issue with it. But I'm calling that out because people are always asking me, can you do that with this particular case or whatever case I'm reviewing at the time? So I'm going to give the Ridge by Devicewear a 4.5 out of 5. For about $30, this is an exceptional value. I mean, you get a lot of feature functionality in this case with all the different stands that I showed you. It is very stable in those stands. It works pretty well in a lap environment because of the bend in the front flap. It depends on how you're sitting. It could be a little bit unstable there, but for the most part, it works really well. And I also like the fact that when you put this into that typing mode that I showed you, the leather part or the leather-like part of this case is touching the surface you're on, not the interior of the case. So they really thought it through in that regard. Now, if there's any downfall to this case, and again, this is one of those cases that I really have to grasp to try to find something. This area here tends to lift up just a tiny bit, and I mean that is so minor that I struggle to even call it out. And then the other piece of this case is that, as I showed you, if you provide some excessive force, it does have the tendency to possibly trigger that sleep awake feature. Nothing major there, nothing that I would ding this case too hard for. Again, it's the Ridge by Devicewear, and it gets my solid recommendation, 4.5 out of 5. If you guys have questions, comments, or feedback, as always, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, take care, everybody, and have fun.